Hello everyone, my name is Constanza Araneda. Today I'm going to be analyzing some complex sentence on a classic book called Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. The objectives for this video are reviewing about subordination, specifically two types of dependent clauses, noun and relative, and how to identify them in books and what question you need to ask and their structure. Before I start, I'm going to review some basic concepts. Subordination is the process of linking clauses, one being independent and the other one dependent. The dependent clause cannot stand by itself because it doesn't share a complete thought. A noun clause acts as a noun in a clause or a phrase, and a relative clause, also called adjective clause, modifies a noun, is a multi-word phrase with a subject and a predicate. Now we are going to analyze. Here is the first extract to analyze a noun clause. This would be our complex sentence, and now we are going to analyze it. The first thing we need to know is look for finite verbs. Here we have assure and could suit, that is a verb phrase. The next step is to find their subjects. So here we have the first one and the second one. Now we can say that we have two clauses, but we need to know how they are joined. And here we have the relative pronoun that. That means we are in front of a complex sentence because we have an independent clause, a relative pronoun, and a dependent clause. Now we need to know what kind of dependent clause this is, and to verify if this is a noun clause, we have to ask the question what. So here the question would be, what did Elizabeth assure him? And the answer would be that she could suit herself perfectly with those in the room. For further analysis, the structure is the that clause, and the function of this that clause is direct object. Here is the second extract for analysis. We are going to be using from here to here. Now we are going to analyze the same as before. Finite verbs here and is, then their subjects. We have one and a man, and how we need to know how they are connected. They are with the WH word what. That means this is a complex sentence. And I'm not sure what if this is a noun clause. We need to ask the question what again. So here will be, what can one know what a man really is by the end of a fortnight. Further analysis, the structure here is different. WH word, and the function is the same as before, direct object. The last noun clause that we are going to be analyzing here is going to be from here to here. Here is the close-up of the sentence. Same as before, look for finite verbs. We have the first one, and the second one would be marry, their respective subjects, and how they are joined. Here we have the word whether. Is a subordinating conjunction. That means this is a complex sentence. And to be short, the dependent clause is a noun clause. We have to ask the question, what did I long to know? Whether he would be merry in his blue coat. Again, for further analysis, the structure here is whether, and the function is the same as the two examples from before, a direct object. Now we are going to analyze relative clauses. The difference here is the type of question we are going to ask. Here is not going to be what. We are going to ask what kind or what type. So here is the extract. We are going to analyze from here to here. Here's the close-up. The procedure is the same as the earlier. So the first one is to find adverbs, their respective subject. Now, how they are connected. Here we have a relative pronoun. That means this is a complex sentence. And like I mentioned before, we have to ask a different kind of question that here will be, what type of most violent against him was Mrs. Bennet, whose dislike of his general behavior was sharpened into particular resentment by his having slighted one of his daughters. And for further analysis, here we are presented a restrictive relative clause because it's essential information. The relative pronoun whose is presented as possessive, and the word that is describing is Mrs. Bennet. The second relative clause that we are going to be analyzing here is this one. And here is the close-up. First, we need to find adverbs. Here we have was and waited on, that is a verb phrase. Their respective subjects. And the difference here from the other example, our subjects is also going to be our a relative pronoun that is going to join these both clauses, making the complex sentence. And to find if this is relative clause, we ask the question again, what type of earliest was Mr. Bennet of those who waited on Mr. Bingley? And here for, again, the dependent clause, the relative clause is restrictive. Our relative pronoun who is playing the part of a subject of the relative clause and is describing the earliest of those. The last sentence we are going to be analyzing is going to be from here to here. Here is the close-up. Same procedure. Here we have the first final verb, and here is the second one. The attention of every lady is the first subject, and they is the second subject. That means we have two clauses. Now we need to know how they are connected. We have the relative pronoun whom. That means we are in front of a complex sentence. And now we need to ask the question to see what type of dependent clause is. So here our question would be, what kind of young men caught every lady's attention? And our answer would be, whom they have never seen before. And this part is different from the other two because this is a non-restrictive sentence. It's between commas. That means it's not essential information. And if we deleted this, the information will still have sense. The relative pronoun here is playing the role of an object and is describing the noun, a young man. As a conclusion, with this video, we are going to be able to recognize and analyze sentence in many contexts like books, series, movies, not just in isolated situations like an example.